Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the makeup that if I were to just start my makeup collection from scratch, what would I rebuy? That's really what I wanted to share today. I've seen Smoky Glow do this version of the video a few times and I really like the concept, and I'm like really just going, if you've been here for a while, then you know I'm really just like working through my collection right now and minimizing things that I don't use, don't need, whatever, and I'm trying to pass those along to others before they expire. I'm also finding a lot of expired products that I'm getting rid of as well. So that whole concept just really like made me think about like, if I were to start over, like what would I have? Like what would be a necessity? What makeup items could I not live without? And to be honest, as picking items to select for this video, it's not the first time that I've thought about minimizing my collection down to something similar to this size. And I feel like, you know, some people will still think what I'm going to share with you all today is a lot. It's too much for one person. It's, you know, I still have too much shit and like, whatever. That's, if you think that, that's what you think. But compared to all of the items that I have, having the collection that I would have right in front of me would be so insanely minimalistic. But honestly, a lot of it is just what I'm using. And I've found that my makeup preferences have really changed over the years, and I'm finding, because I've always been into makeup, but I've just been very like in a lane with it. And then when I got into the social media space, I was trying out a lot of different makeup, and then I really found my niche, my style, what I like, what I don't like. And that's what I'm going through right now, the growing pains of like, this is what I like, these are what my preferences are. And I'm very mindful of that when purchasing new makeup. Like there will still be products in the future that I'm sure are going to be like a dud for me. That just happens, you know? Like I recently picked something up I thought I was going to love and I don't. That is still going to happen, but like I can be more mindful moving forward of like, oh, matte, probably not going to love that. You know, oil-free, probably not going to be into that. Stuff like that, or even like full coverage, probably not going to be into that. Those kind of things, like I know now that like those aren't going to be my preference, so I'm not going to bring them into my collection, you know? So I really just feel, I guess that's why I feel okay about like going through my stuff and get rid of my stuff, because I'm like, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to. So yeah, holy wow, long-winded intro. Back to the point. If I started my collection from scratch, these are the products that I would have to have in my collection. This is what I would rebuy, and that's what we're going to chat about today. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. My name is Megan. My intros are not typically this long. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave if you enjoy this kind of content. Also, if you enjoy this video at any time when you're watching, please give it a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel to grow. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the video, you guys. So I'm gonna try to make this not too long-winded, but I do have a feeling that this is gonna be a little bit of a longer window. What the actual... If that's how it's gonna go, it's gonna be a real long video. But I do feel like it's gonna be a little bit of a longer video because I want to talk about why this is a product that I would just have to have back in my collection, and I feel like I couldn't do my makeup without it. So if that's not for you, that's what we're getting into. So this video is going to be loaded with tons of mini reviews. We have big brands, drugstore brands, indie brands. It's like a really nice mixture of everything, I feel like. Creams, powders, all the things. So yeah, let's go ahead and start. And I'm going to kind of, for the most part, do this in the order that I'm doing my makeup too. So hopefully that will be helpful as well. But the first product I want to start with is, this is called Pink Honey. And it is their honey glue. And this is like textured honey, whatever. This is essentially a brow glue. And this is my fave brow glue. I've tried so many. I really do like a fluffier brow. I've had this makeup on for over 12 hours now, so they are starting to fall, but honestly, for being in the 12-hour range, I feel like this is holding up phenomenally. This is what it looks like on the inside. You just wet your spoolie. I use water, then I go in and swirl it around to get the glue, and then I fluff up the brows. But this is definitely something that I would have to have in my routine to do my brows. The next item I couldn't live without, and I've been using pretty much solely for like 2-ish years now, maybe a little more than 2 years, is my e.l.f. Instant Brow Lift Pencil. I love this. It literally retails for $3. I have the shade medium brown. I think that it works really well for me. Now I'm gonna be like annoyed by my brows. I think that it works really well for me. This is how I like to wear my brows, and this does a really nice job. It's not like too creamy in my opinion, but it's easy to work with. And I'm just not a person that's like a fan of like the liquid pens. Like, I'm just not talented enough to figure out how to work that and make it look good. Same goes for pomade. I know a lot of people really enjoy pomade, but like, I just can't figure it out. So this is really easy, quick, and does a really nice job, and there really is like not a learning curve to it, so I love it. Next up is my tried and true. This is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Potion Primer. This is just the original one. I have been using this for many years. And out of those many years, like a decade plus, I've only experienced creasing a handful of times. So when I do experience creasing, it's the fucking eyeshadow. Like, it's the eyeshadow, because my makeup does not crease with this. I think that if I've been using it for over a decade and I've had only a handful of times where my makeup is creased, that is pretty darn good. I love this. It comes out, it has a little brush. I wipe it on the lid and I pat it out with my finger, then go in with my setting shade and do the thing. The next category, let's talk about primers. The first one, I feel like I would have to have a poreless primer. It's not something that I use every day, but it's something that I use consistently enough that I would feel like my collection was incomplete without. My favorite is the Poreless Putty Primer from Tarte. This is the full size, and I mean, this just lasts so long, and it makes a stunning difference. It fills in my pores great. I'm wearing it. Did I put it on this morning? I can't remember if I did, because I don't use it every day. But it fills in my pores really nicely. I love the way that the makeup wears under it. It has a really nice texture. It's not like chalky, it's like smooth and balmy, but it doesn't like get slick or anything. I know people said they felt like the e.l.f. Putty Primer was a dupe for this. It's not, not even close. I tried the Putty Primer and I didn't like it. But yeah, love this. The next primer that I really love and I don't feel like I could live without is the Milani Bright Side Primer. If you've been here, then you're familiar with this one. It has just a really nice consistency and it has a subtle tint, like you can see there. And I love that because it doesn't necessarily give coverage, but it builds a layer of, what's the word I want to say here? It builds another layer that just like helps to cover up anything you're trying to hide. And then of course you have that beautiful luminosity right there. And it just gives you the most gorgeous, like healthy, yummy glow. I am wearing it today. I really love it. This is my second tube of this and I think it's like $10-ish. I think that it's totally worth it, and this is something that I would just have to have in my collection for sure. Next up is one that you haven't seen probably in a little bit because I did kind of take a break from it, but it is the Bobbi Brown. This is the corrector. I have the shade Porcelain Peach. It's obviously very loved. We have a pan in her, and what I really like about this is not only does my concealer lay really nicely on top of it, but this also serves really well on its own. If I'm doing something really light coverage, like a very light skin tint, I don't really want to use one of my concealers because they tend to lean a little bit more on the full coverage side. So I want some coverage, but I think that it looks weird when you pair a full coverage concealer with a very light to sheer coverage like base. Like, I just think that it doesn't look right. So I love dipping into this for those days because it gives me just a really light amount of coverage, and it wears really well on its own as well. Like, I don't experience like any creasing or anything like that. It's long lasting. Really, really enjoy this one. All right, next up, we are going to be moving into concealers. I would need to have at least 2 in my collection at a time. I really love a concealer that can work as a brightening concealer, and then I also love a concealer that is more of a skin tone shade. I really like having that, I guess, variety is how I could put it, or versatility in my collection. So I would always need to have 2, which might seem a little excessive for some people, but that's just the way I like to do my makeup. And if I'm starting over, then I'm gonna do it how I want to do it, you know? So I have 2 in my collection right now that I'm really, really loving. The first one is the KVD Good Apple Concealer. If you guys haven't tried this, I definitely love it. It has a really nice dry down that I feel like some people might find too drying, but if you like the CoverGirl concealer, then this won't be too drying for you, because I thought the CoverGirl one was dry the house, okay? I think this is a really nice medium between like a drying concealer and a really hydrating concealer. But it doesn't feel like it sucks the moisture out of my skin. It dries down really nice. I don't experience any creasing, and it's super long wear. This one is more of a brightening tone for me, so I use it more in the winter or if I want to brighten things up. And then the other one that I just got like pretty recently, and I did get this through Influencer, it's the Dior Backstage Flash Perfector Concealer. And, oh, I didn't even tell you what shade. Shade 119 Light, babies, 119 Light. But this one is in the shade 2N. And I think that I would be more of 1N during like this time of year. But I am wearing 2N today. And as you can tell, it's like pretty skin tone on. So I think that it looks really nice. This is more creamy than the KVD one, I find. The applicator is also interesting. It's like a, kind of like a paintbrush there on the end. I've never had a concealer like that, but it actually spreads and applies the product really nice. It blends out beautifully. We don't have any creasing. It's really long wearing. It checks all the freaking boxes for me, and I got so lucky. And I think, again, this goes back to, you know, finding out what works for you and reading and seeing like, okay, like this aligns with a lot of my typical preferences. I think that I would like that, because before I was trying to find a concealer that I loved, and I went through so many concealers before I found the Dose of Colors concealer, and I loved that. Then I had a really bad customer service experience, and I didn't want to purchase from them anymore. So when I began my concealer hunt again, one of the first ones that I tried was from KVD, and it was a smash hit for me. I also tried the Kosas concealer, which didn't really end up being a hit, but like I said, that's gonna happen sometimes. And then this one ended up being a hit too. So now I have 2 concealers in my collection that I really love. I did go ahead and swatch them, and they've now dried down. This is the KVD one here on the top, which is crazy. Actually, now it's dried down. It looks so much darker. But this is the KVD one, and then this is the Dior one. But yeah, I think they're both really beautiful, and these are definitely the 2 concealers that I would pick up to have in my collection. The next item, base. So like foundations is where I'm gonna go with this. I did pick a liquid, a stick, and a skin tint. That way I would have a little bit of variety in terms of coverage, just because sometimes I'm feeling a stick foundation, sometimes I'm feeling a liquid, sometimes I want, you know, a tint. So, I mean, I'm a makeup lover, so I want to have a little bit of variety no matter what. So the first one we're going to start with is the Fenty Beauty. This is the Pro Filter Hydrating Foundation. I think it's being discontinued because it's sold out on Sephora. It's basically sold out on Fenty Beauty, but it's a shade 150, and I love it. It's what I'm wearing today. It is so gorgeous. It is long wearing on me. It's hydrating. I don't feel like I look greasy. If you do, shh. But I feel like I look glowy and my skin looks so nice. And like, we're past 12 hours of wear time. I'm so impressed. I love the tone of this. This is like the most perfect shade match I've ever had with a foundation. It's true to its tone and claim of neutrality. That doesn't normally happen, but it is. So I freaking love it. Also blends out really nicely. It also goes well over my products if I want to underpaint. It plays well with products if I'm going to paint on the top. Like, it really just, it's a home freaking run. I really love this one. Next up, we have the skin tint. So I chose the Rose Ink Skin Tint. I really love this. I have a full review up on my channel. I did like a review and a first impressions, and I love this. I have two shades actually. I have the shade 40N and 60N. 40N is my shade right now. Really love this. I honestly think it's kind of like what every other skin tint has tried to be. It's very light. I wouldn't even say light coverage. It is sheer coverage. Basically, it just gives you enough pigmentation to look like you've had a filter blurred over your skin. And in my opinion, it's dewy, it's hydrating, it's long lasting on me. I love the way that it just makes my skin look. It is so yummy. Like, this would be the perfect just slap it on and go when you're wanting to do a like no makeup day, like mascara and skin tint. This would be it. Also, I apologize about my dogs. It annoys me too. If you guys think that it doesn't, it fucking does. It does. It's just like, dang, chill. There's nothing out there. Ugh. But anyways, so yeah, I really love this, and this is something that I would definitely have to have in my collection for those like light coverage days. Our products play really well with this. If you're wanting to do like a blush, bronzer, highlight moment, you can do that with the sheer coverage as well. It dries down really nice. It's not like mattifying, but it doesn't stay tacky. It's almost like I don't want to say a powder finish, but it's very interesting. I don't know. Love this though. Next up, if you thought I wasn't gonna mention her, ooh, my Huda Beauty stick. I currently have the shade Cashew 140G. It's a really good winter shade for me. I won't harp on this for too long because if you've been here, then you've probably heard enough about this to make your ears fall off. This is a really beautiful cream foundation formulation, and I love it. It's that shade over there. You almost can't even see it because it's such a perfect match. But I freaking love this. It pairs so well, literally with every product. I love to underpaint with it. I love to overpaint with it. It is medium to full coverage. It is buildable. It looks really natural on the skin, in my opinion, the way that it adheres. I love pairing it with my Milani primer. Just that combination is like chef's kiss. And honestly, it's something that's like really quick to do, which is I like. So I just go blend it out. Like, it's one of those things that are kind of like low maintenance, if you will. So this is definitely one that I would have to have in my collection. I finished one. This is my second stick. And I think that says a lot compared to all the shit I have that like I've repurchased it. So, all right, next up we have bronzer. I have like quite a few powdered bronzers. When I was looking for like through the collection, I was like, there's really only one, because I don't really use powdered bronzer. Sometimes I'll use it to warm my face up a little bit more, or if I feel like I want to set the bronzer, I don't know, but I don't really use it that often unless I'm being like, I'm like actively trying to use something. So really for me, I think I would be okay if I only have one powdered bronzer in my collection. So the one that I picked is a cult classic for a reason. Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I mean, I hate the packaging, but it gets the job done. It's really nice. It blends out great. I love this tone on me. The one I have is just bronzer. They have like a couple different shades, but it's like weird the way they name them. But yeah, I think that if I only kept one, it would be this one. I don't really, like I said, I don't really use powdered bronzer. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like this is really the only one that I would need. It's a great tone. It blends out really easily. Yeah, so there you have it, folks. Now for cream bronzers, I do have more cream bronzers. But really when I was looking at my collection again, I feel like, I mean, there are ones that I enjoy having in my collection, and I'm glad that I can mix it up and rotate through them because I do use cream bronzer every day more actively. So I like to have a few more options. But if I was starting over and trying to be more minimalistic and mindful, one of the ones that I would definitely make sure to have in my collection is the Tom Ford Shade and Light Duo. This bronzer is so good, you guys. I've completely panned one. I love it. And I was so fortunate that a friend in the community gifted me this one because she wasn't really using it. And so I was like, yes, I love that bronzer. Give it to me. And I wore it the other day and I was like, oh, I missed it so much. It's so good. It's so like creamy, but it's not slippery. It's a great shade, great pigmentation. I pan the shade 0.5. This is the shade 1. This does work for me, but I think 0.5 is a better match. So just so if you're thinking about picking it up, I would go with 0.5. I don't really like this here at the top, but Tom Ford doesn't make singles because, but yeah, this is one that I really would love to always have in my collection. It's just so stinking stunning. And it's great for underpainting, overpainting, all the things. It's really just like a versatile product. And I guess that's a nice thing about a lot of the things that I picked. They're versatile. So that's why I picked them. The next one is pretty new to my collection, but I've fallen in love pretty darn quickly. I'll give you a minute to try and guess. Some of my friends are really good about this. Like my friend Eleni, she is like almost always on point with like when I'm going to talk about a favorite or if I pick something up or whatever. She knows. So what do you think it is, Eleni? It is the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer. I've really fallen hard for this one. It's the shade Butter Biscuit. My friend Amy over on IG completely panned one of these, and just seeing her use it all the time, I was like, I've never even been interested in the Fenty Cream Bronzer, but now I like have to have it. And it is so stinking good. I should have swatched the other one for you. But on my IG, there are like tons of product shots and swatches. You just have to swipe, but look how beautiful that tone is. And it's like, I don't want to say, well, it is like neutral, but it's not too cool and it's not too warm or orangey. It's really just a beautiful tone. It's a beautiful tone. Blends out really great, not overly pigmented. It's one that I've really been loving and I can see myself reaching for like on the daily. The next category we're going to get into is blush. Everyone take a shot because about to spill the tea. I love blush, but over the past, I would say 7-ish months, 6 to 7 months, I've really honed in on what I love, and those are really all that I reach for. It's nice to have a little bit of variety that I use sometimes, but typically when I'm gonna reach for a blush, it's gonna be these. So we're gonna start out hot. The first one is a little bit newer to my collection, but you'll be able to see, I can't fucking stop using it. It's the MAC, their putty blushes, the Glow Play blush. This one's in the shade So Natural. She has a pan in there. Oh gosh, literally I can't even describe to you the texture of these. Like, you just don't know until you try it. Because it feels like cool and creamy, but then it dries down to like a powder finish, and it is like the most gorgeous neutral shade. When I got this, it's all I used for like 3 weeks, and I still use it like every other day because it is so beautiful. It goes with every single look. Like, this now is one that I cannot imagine not having in my collection. That's how much I love it. Like, I'm freaking obsessed. Next up, we have, this is one that you guys haven't really seen, but I really enjoy colored blush. So like yellow blush, orange blush, pink blush, like bright pink blush, purple blush sometimes. I like doing that to mix it up and make looks fun. So I wanted to make sure that I would keep a color that I felt like I would reach for. And the one that I wanted to keep is the shade Molten from Phytosurgence. This is an orange blush and it's so beautiful. And I know that I love the formulation of their blushes. So this is one that I would want to keep. Like, look at that. In the summer, I'm gonna make this my bitch. Like, I'm so excited. Like, I really live for orange blush. It just, like, it looks so, in my opinion, it looks so nice on me in the summer. So this is one that I would definitely pick up again and have to have in my collection. And then the last blush. That's right. There's only three that I would have to have. Like, I feel like that just puts my whole perspective, like my whole perspective, like my whole whatever in my collection, like in perspective. Like that, it's something I never thought I would say. Like, yeah, I'd be chill with only these three. Like, who am I? Who? So the last one, of course, and if you don't guess this, then you have to be new, is Smolder from Phytosurgence. It's the blush that I have on today. I absolutely love this shade on me. I'm obsessed with it. There's so much product in these. I've had this for over a year, and for the most part, I used it. I'm not going to say solely, but I use it probably 70 to 80% of the time. And look at that. I'm hoping, Jason, Tom, if you happen to be watching this, I'm low-key thinking that I'll be able to completely finish this blush by the end of May. Like, that's the kind of progress we're making on it. But this is one that I'll repurchase. I love it. Like, it's so beautiful on my skin tone. With my eye color, it really just makes everything pop. It brings it together. It makes me look more, like, warm but not flushed. And these just blend out really nice, too. Like, they're ones that I don't have to worry about in the morning when I'm putting them on. They just blend themselves. They look juicy on the cheek. Like, pretty much anything you want from a blush, it's gonna give it to you. Next, continuing on the Phyto train, is highlighter, I guess. I would put these more in like an illuminating kind of category, illuminating highlighter kind of type situation. So the products that I chose that I wouldn't be able to live without with, because I legitimately use these every single day, you guys, is the Spectral Shine from Phytosurgence. This one is in the shade Divine Daylight, and as you can tell, like, she is beat. I have 4 shades of these, and I think I could live with just 2. If I was trying to be more like minimalistic, I do use my other ones, but this is one that gets a ton of use. It's a really like beautiful shade for my skin tone right now. I just love how versatile this product is. You can use this to set your eyes. You can use it to set your whole face if you want. I like to use it under my foundation and everything right here, and then go over it to get that, like, look at that. See that glow right there, how it hits? Ooh. But you can also use it over the top, and it gives you like a really beautiful airbrushed look. So you can layer these. I like to do that as well. Like, I'll layer this one with like a lighter one. But honestly, I can't live without these now. I literally pretty much got rid of all my powder highlight because these are all I use. That being said, the other shade I could not live without is going to be Dew of Dawn. And this is my summer gal. This is my summer gal. This is the dent I put in her until they released the Divine Daylight shade. And when it starts getting warmer and I get a little bit of color, this will probably be the one that I predominantly use again. It's a smidge deep for me right now. I think I could get away with it if I wanted to, but I have this one, so I don't really need to make it work, you know? So yeah, these 2 are items that I would have to freaking have in my collection. Like, I just wouldn't be able to not. All right, so the next category we're gonna go into is lips. I just have a few products here. The first ones being liners. These are 2 of my fave. They're from Kylie Cosmetics. I have the shade Candy K, which this is my second one of this, and I do have a backup. And then the other shade is Moon, which is a really pretty cool tone. So that's Moon, and that is Candy K. This just goes really well with a lot of my nudes in my collection. And then this is really nice when I'm wanting to bring some depth to the lips and then bring it a little bit light in the center. Like, I love that kind of contrasted lip, so the Moon shade really does that for me. If I had to start over, these are really the only two that I would need. And then we're gonna move into glosses. I have two that I really just like, I really love. The first one is from Merit. It's their lip oil in the shade Taupe. These are so nice. It gives a beautiful tint to the lips. It's very hydrating. I wouldn't say it's long wearing, but what gloss or tint is, like, you know. But I really do enjoy this one. I love the hydration it brings. The lips look super juicy and yummy. So this is a good one that I would highly recommend. The next one I would have to have is from Tarte. This is their H2O gloss in the shade Coastline. I love this. Like, it is the perfect My Lips But Better shade for me. And it is so juicy and yummy. It's like my, oh girl, kind of lip gloss, like puckering my lips and stuff. Like, this is that one. I love this gloss. Next up are going to be bullet lipsticks, and I just have a few. The first one I'll swatch for you, I don't know why I'm swatching it, it's on my face, is right here and on my lips. It's the Milani Matte in the shade 61. I love this. Like, this is literally, I would venture to say, probably my favorite lipstick. It's a really nice, like a powdered matte formula, I would say. It doesn't quite dry all the way down to where it feels super drying, but it's not slipping around like a satin kind of finish. It just like, it's comfortable. And it's like the perfect cool toned nude on my skin tone. I freaking love it. Yeah, like literally, I probably had half of this gone and then it broke and I went out and bought a new one. I was so devastated, but I had to have it in my collection. I love it. The next one, unfortunately, is no longer available because it's from Becca Cosmetics. And it is their lippy in the shade Dune, which is this one right here. And it's interesting how it's looking. It looks kind of like, it looks like pink, like a pinky peach right there. But on my lips, it pulls a very light peachy orange color. So that is so interesting how that looks swatched compared to how it looks on my lips. But this is a more like, I would say a more like, I don't want to say slippery, but it is a more moist formula. So I do like that. It's really comfortable to wear for a long time. I love the way that the tone pulls on me in the summer. I also just think the packaging is so nice. If Becca was going to keep anything, it should have been these damn lipsticks. Like, they are good. And then the last lippy that I have for you guys is from Huda Beauty. And this is from the cream lipstick line. And the shade is Sweet Cheeks, which is just a really pretty pink nude right here. Gorgeous. These are also really creamy, really comfortable. I enjoy reapplying them. I don't get any issues throughout the day. None of these like bleed into around my lips, and I don't need a liner with them, but I use a liner if I want to, that kind of situation. I don't like lipsticks that I have to use a liner with, and even then they bleed sometimes. Like, I'm not into that. So none of these do those things, but yeah, so that's crazy. If I just had like 5 lip products and a couple liners, like, can you imagine? Okay, next we're gonna go into eyeballs, and I'm gonna do like singles type situations first, and then we'll do palettes. So I had a few, like, I'm just gonna do it. Okay, so I have this from Charlotte Tilbury, and it is the color Chameleon in the shade Champagne Diamonds, and I love this. Like, it might be overpriced for what it is, but I love just like popping this on my inner corner. Super smooth, super creamy, long lasting, doesn't bleed everywhere. And it just gives like the most beautiful like shine to my blue eyes and gives like a really nice sparkle on the inner corner. I love it. And you can even like take it up into the swoopity part there if you want. It sharpens. Do you see how like it just like brightened my eyes? But it is so gorgeous, and this is something that I would have to have in my collection now because I'm just obsessed. The other thing that I would have to have is from Deck of Scarlet, and it is the Dual Drama Liquid Eyeliners. This one is the shade Solar Flare. I have a few of these, but the reason why I picked this one is because it has a more like brown brassy shift to it, and I like to wear neutrals, and I really like using this for just like a little pop of something fun. So sometimes I'll just pop it in the swoop there or use it as a liner or whatever, and it's just like that little something that will spice your look up, and it's long lasting. It looks great. It's just something fun. It's something fun, but not like super out of the comfort zone, wham bam in your face, but just like a little something. So I really do enjoy this for that. So now we're basically going to get into singles. The first one is from Phytosurgeons. It is the shade Defiant Delilah. These are their flash for fluorescent, so like they're cream potted shadows. These are incredible. They're so easy to work with. I prefer to apply them with a brush. They give so much dimension that they're the great they're a really great option for if you really enjoy a one and done kind of look. You will love these. They are long wearing. They don't crease. I have one on today. There's no creases. I've had this on for 12 plus hours. And they're really just beautiful. I like this one because it has some like sparkles in it. And the way this like pulls on my skin tone is just stunning. And I know it looks like I haven't used it, but I have. There's a lot of product in here. So this is so beautiful, really great for a one and done. I don't do that very often, but if I do, this is one of the few that I'm reaching for. Sticking on that train, I also wanted to include the shade Wild Oak. That is the one that I have on today. It's a really beautiful color. You do get some dimension, as you can see out on the corners there, and I didn't do anything. I just used this. I didn't layer it up. I just slapped it on my lid. Took 2 seconds. It's gorgeous. I wore it on its own yesterday, and then today I topped it with another product that would be in the lineup, and that is the Urban Decay Moon Dust in the shade Lithium, and I just topped it on the center here to give me some sparkle. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it's like really sparkly, super pretty, and just gives it that extra little bit of something. What's really nice is like this would be the perfect like just to travel with. Like, oh yeah, my eyes, oh, 2 things done. Like, you know what I mean? Just really great for quick makeup. And that's also why I wanted to include my Hourglass Scattered Lights in the shade Ray. I freaking love this one. And every time I travel, it comes with me. Right here on the top there. It always comes with me when I travel because it's just something easy but glamorous and small and light that I can toss in the bag. And it's something that I would just have to have. So that is all of my like single items. My last like finishing like topper items would be for mascara, my Bite Beauty Upswing Mascara. This is a holy grail for me. Honestly, it's foreseeably the only mascara I will be purchasing until who knows how long. That's how much I love it. That's how satisfied I am with it. That is what is on my eyeballs today. Love, love, love. Cannot recommend enough. I would not be able to not have it. Let's put it that way. And then liner. So this one isn't open yet because I'm working on finishing a couple other ones that I feel meh about. But the one I would have to have is from Tarte. Their felt tip liners are the absolute best. This one is the Double Take, and I have the shade Black, and it's really just easy to work with. They're really black. They're not that like shiny black, but they're not too matte to where they look like gray or something. I don't know. I literally wear liner pretty much every day. I don't have it on today, of course, because if you saw my community tab, I really just kind of been having a hard time, and I am just trying to get something on my face lately. So I haven't, yeah, anyway, random tangent, sorry. But I wear a liner for the most part every single day. I love the way that it looks. This has the cream gel on the lower, wow, I think I'm done. But this has the cream portion there on the top that I use for the lower lash line. I always put something down there. I don't know, it just like makes my eyes pop in my opinion. But this is definitely my favorite liner, so I would have to have that in my collection. All right, folks, we're finally there. We're down to eyeshadow palettes, and as you can see, there are still a lot more behind me that I have. But I feel like if I were to start over, this small stack are the ones that I would want to make sure that I have. These are in no particular order or anything like that. I literally just grab them and put them on my thing. So the first one that I wanted to start with is the Natasha Denona Mini Retro. This is surprisingly, insanely unique to my collection. The way that the tones work and pull is really just crazy. I will have by now a full review up of it over on my IG where I included swatches and looks. So if you're curious, go check that out. But this is surprisingly very unique. Yeah, I love it. And I think considering how much shit I have, that says a lot that like something like this could really just stand out to me. The shadows, like the mattes blend really well, really effortlessly. The shimmers pack a beautiful punch. I really have nothing bad to say about this. And I think that this one is worth every damn penny because it is so unique. And if you have it, then you know what I mean. And if you pick it up, then you will know what I mean. It's just one that I couldn't foresee not having in my collection now that I've experienced it. The next one is from KKW Beauty. It is the Camo Palette. Man, this color story just so good, you guys. Like, the shifts and everything are so beautiful. It's a really dimensional palette. You can get really grungy looks out of this. You can get cool tone looks, warm tone looks. It is really just, it checks so many boxes. Mattes blend great, shimmers pack a punch. Like, as you can tell, like, I've gotten some really nice use out of this. And it is one that I don't want to let go. It's one of those that I would be like, there's a fire, I gotta grab my Camo palette. Like, you know, it's one of those that really just truly wows me. And it's like, her brand is doing whatever right now, so like it's not available, which I apologize. But I also don't really support her. I don't support her anymore, honestly. But yeah, this palette, I have it. I love it. It's so good, and I'm glad that I have it, and I will not be getting rid of it. The next palette that I feel like I would have to repurchase is the Elephant J Kissa palette. When Eleni and I did our pan off last year with this palette, I was really just surprised at the creativity that I was able to hone from it and to really channel through it. And I created, in my opinion, like so many beautiful looks. I got really bold with color and I really started experimenting. That's when I got into my colored blush phase, and like that's when I started playing with like purple blush, yellow blush, orange blush, and I really fell in love with it. So this is definitely a palette that like I would have to have in my collection if I were to completely start over. And it's one that I still have been reaching for. Like, I wouldn't say on like the regular necessarily, but I have been reaching for this like almost on a weekly basis here lately, now that hopefully spring is coming, because it's just it's so gorgeous. I will say, like, some of these deeper shades don't perform the best, but this row and this row are the stars of the show. And honestly, I'll probably hold on to this until it expires, or until, you know, I've completely panned it because it's just such a good one. And I do like to play with colors sometimes, so I feel like I would need something that can encompass that like rainbow side of things. The next palette, this one probably won't come as a surprise to you guys, is the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions palette. I love, love, love this. I use it pretty frequently still. It's one that I constantly want to reach for. The mattes are gorgeous. They blend themselves. The formulas are really unique, especially like some of these like more like cream to powder kind of situations are really nice. I use these toppers literally all the time. Like the wow that they give to a look is just, oh, I freaking love it. And then the creams, I'm not like super into cream, but like I really experimented with this the other week and I adore these. They are so good. They blend, they are pigmented, so go in light and build it up, but they blend out so easily, so beautifully, and they dry down great, and I had no creasing. So yeah, this is just a home run for me, and this is one that like I could just use, and use. It's one that I don't want to let go of. I really, really love it. So highly recommend, obviously. Okay, the next palette that's actually kind of more recently become a favorite is going to be from Huda Beauty, and it is the Mercury Retrograde palette. I've been using this a ton lately, as you can tell. We have 3 pans, and then we have a lot of great use in some of these mattes, but I feel like this is a great option for when I'm wanting something lighter and more on the pastel side, but it also has shimmers that are just like, oh, chef's kiss kind of situation. So yeah, I love this one. I'm obsessed with it. I think I'm just gonna get like so much use out of this, like now that we're going into the spring. I mean, shoot, I already have. But yeah, her mattes blend beautifully. The shimmers in here are just so stunning, reflective. They pack a punch. I do use a glitter glue with these. So I guess that's something else that I would have to have is my NYX glitter primer. I use this a lot of the times when I'm applying any kind of shimmer or anything because it just gives it more wow, and it really helps with fallout. So this is something that I would have to always have in my collection as well. But yeah, I love this one. Next up, we have the Scott Bonds Natural Palette. This is such a good one. I love the mattes in here. I also really like the shimmers in here. And there are some really unique like toppers that have a deeper base that makes it like unique for me and my collection. Obviously, I've shown this quite a bit of a love, and I have a really nice deep dip going in this shade right here. Something that I probably actually need to pull out. I haven't worn it for a while, just because I've been focusing on some other stuff. But this, in my opinion, is like a really versatile one, whether if you're wanting something just like light and simple for the day, or if you're wanting something dark and vampy, moody, smoky, whatever, you can do it with this one. It is a pretty expensive palette. My friend Danielle over at Boise Beauty on IG does have a discount code with them, so that's something good to know if you want to pick it up. But yeah, this is one that I would definitely repurchase. Last but not least, we have the Natasha Denona Biba palette. I really have just fallen head over heels for this one. The color story is so unique, in my opinion, for a neutrals palette. I think that the bottom, well, the top row, the way I'm holding it, really sets it apart from a lot of other ones, just because like you can get a lot of really nice cool toned looks out of this. I really like if you're doing something that's like gonna lean more gray, or I've got a lot of really beautiful like taupey looks out of it that I really enjoyed. But you also have these nice warm tones. Like this here pulls like a really beautiful like warm mustardy yellow. And then you have these more like peachy tones. And then you have these staple like more chocolate brown. And then you have the highlighting shades. And then you have the nice setting shade. Like this is really just a great all-in-one palette. And I think that if my collection was smaller, this will look beat to hell. And it does have like a lot of really great use in it, but it's just one of those things where I have a lot, so I like to like cycle through my stuff and what I have and, you know, all of that. But if I had to start over, this would definitely be top of the list to repurchase. So yeah, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I feel like it's going to be long. If you made it this far, I just want to thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me. I know this was longer winded, but that is what I feel like I would have to have in my collection if I started over. And honestly, I'm like in this weird, I'm just like in this weird place right now. Like, pan over purchase has just like completely shaken who I am as a makeup consumer as a fucking whole. So I'm going through just like a lot of like growing pains and decision making and stuff. And like, I don't know, like sometimes I already have gutted my collection, you guys. I have like an hour-long declutter video already up on my channel. And then I have one that's going to have to be 2 parts and is going to be well over 100 items. Like, I'm just gutting my collection, and I almost feel as though I really could break it down a lot more. Just being mindful of, oh, I never use this. I haven't used this in a year. Like, instead of sitting on my shelf, I could give it to someone else, or I could make a little bit of my money back that I, you know, spent while I purchased it before, like, you know, before it's super old. So I just feel like that is kind of my mindset right now, and going through and doing this video was kind of like almost a test to see, like, can I narrow it down? Can I even narrow it down to something feasible? And I did. And I would not have been able to do that a year ago. I attempted to do my top 10 palettes last year, and I think I included like 20. And then I had like 4 honorable mentions. And now I can say that, like, I think I would easily be able to narrow it down to just like 10. And that's just like crazy to me. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on over here. Amongst a lot of other things, which I'll probably chat about in like a get ready with me video at some point in time. But yeah, it's been really nice chatting with you guys. I know I've been like a little bit absent, but there's just been a lot going on up here. So that's why, but yeah, I am happy to get this video uploaded with you guys. It's been really nice just sitting down chatting makeup, because I love makeup. But I've definitely rambled on more than long enough. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye!